So we're just going to take for the next few moments to do a music-assisted relaxation. And I invite you to take a moment to just bring your awareness to your breath, noticing the natural ebbs and flows of your breath. And just allowing the music to join you. Music has ended. Taking a moment to just bring your awareness back to the room. And thank you for joining me in the music.
So good afternoon. I'm Olga Estadella from Spain. And on behalf of the World Forum for Ethics in Business and the World Forum for Art and Culture, I welcome you to this panel. Today, we discuss the importance of mental well-being for artistic success. Let me first introduce Coral Campopiano. She defines herself as a dreamer, a life lover, a defender of honesty, truth, and strong values. She was saved by music and since then has worked strongly for those who are vulnerable, to help them find their spark within themselves, so they are able to change their reality. Welcome, Coral. So,
hi.
What made you decide to return to your country and start the Signal for Help campaign? And how important do you feel is mental wellness of a woman to handle these situations?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being with you guys. I came back to my country after I spent a long time working in New York City I left this country when I was pretty young, and I decided to move to the States because I was looking for a bigger career for myself. And I achieved it. I achieved so many things in New York City. The United States had been it's my second home. I'm eternally grateful to all the people I met there and all the opportunities I had. I studied Bachelor of Performing Arts in the city. I played for million stars. I played for Michael Jackson. I played for so many people that I never dreamed of. I wanted to share all the knowledge I already have. I learned vocal technique with the greatest teacher on earth. His name is William Riley. And he taught me so much. And he always said to me, once you have all the knowledge you have to pass it on. The knowledge is something that you can't keep for yourself. Through my own experience, that you can live, that you can have dreams and you can go for them, even though I was born in a country that it's always in trouble. And I'm not from a family that it's like rich or anything like that. I'm really like from middle class. My parents are lawyers, but being a lawyer here in Argentina doesn't mean you're rich. So I really had a dream and I pursued it and I went after it. And only because I dreamt so hard, I could really do it. And I wanted to be here and I wanted to share with all the people that I know and inspire other women to go after their dreams and not to be scared of the world. And so that's the first reason I came back, and I'm not regretting it. I've been traveling back and forth because I want to keep my doors open in New York City and in the States. I'm not traveling now with the pandemic, but I've been doing it for the past 5 years. But I'm glad I came back because I have a message. I have something. I have a story to tell, right? Like, again, I'm coming from a total normal family, and I've done so much for myself in a world that it's really hard for a woman to do what I did. So I think I have to share that. I think it's important for women to know that is something that we can do. And the signal for help, when the pandemic started, I was here on my own and I was just releasing a record. I was doing really, really well with this last record I released. I was traveling and I was touring and I was playing in the biggest theaters. I was at my best moment, I should say. And then the pandemic came and I had so many shows that got canceled. And I saw this video coming from Canada with the signal for help. Although I know that in domestic violence, this is going to be used tremendously, at least in my country. But I don't want it to keep it just for the video call, because this is a small part that we're going through right now. But to have a signal in our bodies that can call attention to somebody else and to also teach the people to be more empathic, right? To be looking at each other a little more. We can just keep walking in the street looking at our cell phones with our headphones on, right? Like this pandemic has to give us a lesson. And for me, the lesson is that we have to be more careful to one another, more empathic to one another. And this signal calls for that, calls for being in the street and calls for being aware of the needs that other human beings have and that we can be actually helpful to them.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you. Beautiful sharing. Thank you so much. And let's continue to our next panelist. Next panelist is Nehilet Blackman. Nehilet is a seasoned singer, songwriter, musician, artist with a wealth of talent and experience. A daughter of the late Ras Shorty, the inventor of the soca and jamo music, Nehilet is presently the leader of her own all-female band, Lights. She has performed with the band throughout the Caribbean, North America, and Europe. This vibrant young lady sees her pursue as bringing light and joy to the world through her music. So welcome, Nehilet.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
How has the pandemic affected you as an artist? And what did you do to make sure you stay connected with your fans? How important is mental health in the way you are connected to your fans, Nehilet?
I'm going to start with the last question, the mental health, and how important it is. I think that just for me alone, being a musician and artist, music has really affected my mental health. Due to the pandemic, has been such a tough change. I think that artistic persons struggle with, being on a healthy mental path, fighting depression because, we've been going, we've been doing it. And then it just came to a standstill. And I think that music change your mood. You know, it really affects our mental health, just me alone. And then other persons who struggle with even mental health or mental illness, music is a very important part of it. To go back to concerning the pandemic in terms of how it affected me as an artist, whew, that would be the first expression. It really, really did, I would say, cause a big change. No income, all the cancellation of gigs, so the income. Thank our country, our Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rowley. He had a little funds for artistic persons, and even for just our country citizens. He provided a little help for us during that time. But of course, we know that COVID-19 didn't stop. It's now going on the second year of the pandemic. And how I maintain my career during this time is through, of course, social media. Social media has played a strong role in my career. And I released a song called Good Vibe with Chutney, which is our local Indian artist, Raymond Ramnarayan, and it's called Good Vibe. And the purpose of Good Vibe is to bring that good energy during this time for us to represent and to make people feel happy. Our country is half Indian mainly and half African. So we want to bring that unity together. So Good Vibe is on YouTube. You can look for it and it really share that love, share that good vibe. And that has been a message that we've been promoting and that I've been promoting throughout this pandemic. I was able to do some live virtual concerts, which I got paid for. So that was great to still have that ability to maintain that income. I mean, it's not the same, but at least you can pay a bill or two. So, I think that's how I in touch with my fans. I would go live and do stuff live as well as all the social media networks. We would definitely stay connected. I don't know if I missed out any other question. Did I?
No, that was great, Nahila. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for your sharing. And thank you for being here. Now we continue with our third panelist. His name is Nadim Albalushi. He is proud of his parents because they have always supported him in music. He's known as a one-man band because his shows are without any other musician, and he plays 3 keyboards. And he can sing in 6 languages. Welcome, Nadim.
Hi all, this is Nadim Al-Balushi, and thank you for calling me for this environment, to having all the art of living artists here and introducing themselves. I'm really thankful to everyone and the supporter in my country who's supporting me for art of living.
So that you have struck us the right balance between a regular job, and your passion for music. So how does music help you to get through a typical desk job, like the job that you do? How you do that?
Yeah, especially during the pandemic. I mean, you know everyone. I mean, since it's made everything upside down. I mean, here, and still we are locked down right now, and I'm talking to you. We can't go out. Our situation is still bad. We are not improved. The COVID patients have been increased here in our country. So still we are going through the same situation right now here in Oman. But yes, music and working is like, in my country, you can't earn that much in music. Music is my passion, yes. But for living, you can't get that much to live. So I started working in a bank, and again, the bank is a tough work. Sometimes I leave 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock p.m. and reaching home with my family. I'm tired and exhausted. So the music, like I left it really behind. It was a really tough time for me. And regarding the shows and gigs, we really, now more than a year, we stopped having any shows in my country. But yeah, I'm trying to take. So I think during this pandemic, the most supportive thing which I got my family, and I was with them, and to having all each other in one hand, and how to fight this pandemic right now. This is most important thing. Even in my country, our HM is always giving a message, the right way to fight the pandemic, that you have to keep yourself safe. This is what we did. And yes, the challenge between my work and music, it's sometimes sadly, I will tell you, 3 months, I remember I didn't touch my keyboard. I was just totally busy with my work, and I start losing something, because music is like my soul. Because of music, I can work. So, I become so much busy in my work. I left my music. I felt there's something is missing inside me, which is not a food, not a health, but it's like a passion. The music, it's giving me inside me to work. So I think it's very important for me, music. And right now, and I pray that everything will get back to normal, and everyone, let's start our passion and start doing shows and back to normal and sing, and maybe we can have all one song together. This is what I'm dreaming from Art of Living as artists, everyone. I'm from Oman, and beautiful to see other people from different country here. And really, it's it's a good thing. We are connecting the world together, and because of Art of Living. Yeah. So that's all about me. And right now, we're still, I told you, in the pandemic, it's still going on here. Things are really not normal here. We are under lockdown, but again, we are fighting. And inshallah, we will win after a prayer and after saving each other and keep ourselves safe.
Thank you, Nadim. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we continue with Tristan Rocher. He is an indigenous musician, activist, photographer, writer, and originally from Canada. He is known in his home province for activism and advocacy that aims to bring more public awareness of the suicide crisis in Indigenous First Nations communities. Rocher currently lives and works in Thompson, Manitoba, teaching music in rural and remote communities for the Frontier School Divisions, helping to promote and preserve Métis culture and history throughout the pedagogy of traditional Canadian fiddle music. Welcome, Tristan.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell us, what motivated you to go on a 44-day fast to build awareness about suicide? What would you say is a key to keep a healthy mental state of being?
Okay. Well, a key to keeping a healthy mental state of being, I believe, is just the very basics like diet and exercise and a good, adequate sleep rhythm. And in a modern world, that's not always easy. We have so much technology that keeps us into the late hours of the night, and it seems like we sleep less and less and less and less. But I've always put a strong emphasis on getting a good night's sleep and going for long walks when I feel stressed. So when the pandemic first happened and there was all this negative news cycling in the media and everything, I remember I started walking about 5 kilometers a day, and then it turned into 8, and then it turned into 10. And recently, last June, our provincial government voted down a piece of legislation that wanted to take a stronger look at the suicide rates in Indigenous communities in northern Saskatchewan here in Canada. And the bill was unanimously voted down by the government in power, and there were 44 of them. So this really angered me, and I wanted to use my anger in a constructive way as opposed to a destructive way. So I decided to just walk to Regina, which is where our provincial capital is and our legislative building. And I camped on the lawn there for 44 days in a teepee. And that's what motivated that. There was 44 government officials that voted down that bill. So I decided to stay there for 44 days. And I stayed in a teepee. And it was all really to aim to bring awareness about the suicide rates, one, but also to kind of criticize the government for their lack of response, our wanting to take accountability, our responsibility for providing mental health services to Indigenous communities in Northern Saskatchewan. And then three, it was also just for my own sanity. I just wanted somewhere where I could be still and pray and meditate and have a welcoming, open space for artists, our families, our people who are grieving or who lost people to this way of leaving. So we had a lot of visitors. It was all outdoors. It was all socially distanced. It was all safe. And it was a beautiful experience, but at times it was heartbreaking and stressful and difficult because I didn't eat for the 44 days. I exclusively maintained a diet of tea, water, and like a few potassium and multivitamins just for some, immune health, because we're in the middle of a pandemic. So that was a 44-day hunger strike, so to speak, asking them to act and take this situation seriously. And now that that's over, I'm back to my regular job of teaching the fiddle. I play the fiddle. That's just another word for violin, but it's a distinct old time style of music that comes from the early French settlers, and I teach it across northern Manitoba in about 4 different communities. So that's currently what I do.
Wow, very, very impressive, Tristan. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Thank you. Now we continue with our next panelist, Sattel Robinson. He's a character and a concept designer for animated television and film. He's also a children's book illustrator, a mural artist, an art workshop organizer for youth. He's a husband and a father of 5 children. And you're living in Toronto, Canada. And his driving force is his love for art, family, faith, and his community. Welcome, Sal.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be part of the group.
How would you contribute through your art to help people deal with the pandemic better, as it looks like another wave is on this way?
Yeah, it's really rough. You mentioned I have 5 kids, so my house we're crawling on top of each other in here. My community is Jane and Finch. It's kind of notorious for gang violence and things like that, and a rough history. So my wife and we've been actively already doing workshops and things to help kids to distract from that lifestyle and give them something to aim towards. At a young age, I couldn't find a lot of lanes for myself as an artist. And so it's all faith for me. So I felt like God just led me through a path that led me to being able to get into animation and then actually make a living off of it. And I've been very grateful. But every time I was in my Hollywood career, I'd look back in my neighborhood, which I never left. And it was clearly different scopes happening. And so I want to bring some of that back there. So with the pandemic and things shifting and sort of adding to the stress and the mental issues that were going on, it was important for my wife and I to really up the volume of the participation and the contribution to the youth, especially in our neighborhood. And so we were doing a lot of art workshops where we teach animation. My wife's a cake decorator, so we were also teaching that as well, and any arts and craft things to help support the kids. It was important because there are tools people can use to get themselves in the right state of mind, especially when you're in your house, when you're by yourself, or you don't know which direction you want to go in your career and you're trying to figure that out, or just in life. I mean, things are so unstable lately. And so just to grounding, I find that once we started doing the art workshops, whether it was a one-off or a group, it was an opportunity for people to sort of take their mind off of that and then focus on doing work with their hands or creating something. And so it's a solid distraction from the negative. And then it's also art is a powerful way, with all the musicians here can attest to get that emotional, whether it's pain or joy or whatever you're going through, and pour that into some artwork. And so seeing young people find a skill in themselves that they didn't know they had. I didn't know I can draw. We're teaching them to draw ridiculous things like cartoons and all this kind of stuff. And just to see the reaction for themselves to know that they created that thing. It was very encouraging, not only for me mentally, but for them and for the parents of the students as well. And so that's been very, very encouraging and very positive. And so we want to just continue doing that and just turning up the volume on that a little bit. I would also add, I've been doing a lot on the side, a lot of faith-driven stuff. It's Easter weekend, and I'm a Christian. And so in my faith, I've been wanting to contribute to my faith or to help share it, because right now that's what's helping me to get through a lot of things. And so, yeah, just being able to use my art to illustrate the stories that I know have encouraged me, and then post those out on social media. Hopefully that it hits the right person, or it just hits that person in the right moment when they just needed to hear that. That's also been something I've been trying to do more of to help people in need. Can I add one more? I'll tell you, for mental health, as an animation, we do things digitally currently. So when the pandemic hit, for a lot of everybody in the animation industry, the volume of work went up. And so the mental stress was different, affecting us different from other people, because we don't have to be in the same environment to do the work that we do. I don't need to act or perform with another actor. I can just do everything in my own silo. And so everything turned into animation all of a sudden. And we were, as artists, my collaborators, the mental stress was the overwork, if that's a bad thing. I'm super grateful. So, but it was really overwhelming also with Black Lives Matter becoming really a factor this last year. Between the pandemic and Black Lives Matter, there was an overflux of we need Black artists, and I'm very grateful for it. I've been very happy for it, but then it became very overwhelming doing a lot of work. My father just passed away before the new year. So what felt like a blessing during a hard time also then became a hardship, because it was just a lot to take on. So just being able to find that quiet time and find that peace.
Thank you, Sel. Yeah, it's interesting to see, how a different type of artist the pandemic has affected in a different way, So, yeah. Okay, we continue now with Juan Pablo Delgado. He's a member of the Mugli, music producer, composer, and multi-instrumentalist. Juan Pablo has also worked in projects belonging to different contemporary genres. So welcome, Juan Pablo.
Hi, first of all, thank you very much for having me here. It's an honor to me to be talking with a group of such talented and unique and it's inspiring people. Hearing all your stories has been really nice. So thank you really much for having me here.
Juan Pablo, I have a question for you. How does mental health affect the way you perform or deliver a song as an artist?
In many ways, mental health, I think, is really influential in the way you make art, in the way you perform art, in the way you communicate art, because art is a language that works through emotions, works through senses in very subtle ways that also communicate not only messages, but the energy of the people that makes that art, of the people that receive that art. So I think it is fundamental for an artist to be really aware of their mental health, their mental state, their emotional state, their spiritual state at the moment of making art, in my case of making music, in connecting with the people. And the thing is that after all, the music you make as an artist, it is not for you, it is for the people that listens to it. I remember the first time I was making a show with my band that is called Mowgli. We were really nervous. There were some people in front of the stage, I guess like 50 or 100 or something like that. And we were really, really nervous because it was the first time we ever performed live. And I didn't know what to do. And that time I called a friend that is also part of Art of Living. And I think he's a really wise guy in many ways. And he's also a musician and artist. So I asked him, so I am about to perform on stage. I am really nervous right now. What advice can you give to me so I can feel a little calmer, And he was like, okay, I'm gonna tell you two things. The first thing is that you eat a banana because bananas have a lot of potassium and that is good like for the nerves. And that was kind of funny. And then he was like, okay, and the second advice I can give you is to remember that this that you're doing right now, this that you are making your art, that is not you, and that is not for you. That is for all the people that are in front of you that came to listen to you, and that is a gift for them. And when you give a gift, you're not nervous, you're happy for the person to receive it. So just remember, what you're making does not represent you, that is not you, that is a gift for the people that are listening to you. And when I thought it that way, all the nerves went away and I just enjoyed it a lot. And I just thought of giving the people all the good energy that I feel when I make music, you know? And that is why I think mental health is really important when you make music, because all of this that you're feeling, the people that listens to you will feel it too, you know? So in my case, meditation, connecting with nature, walking, and many other techniques like this are really important in my creative periods. Also, at the moment, I'm gonna perform at stage, and I think every artist should be aware of the importance of having a good, stable, calm mental state at the moment of sharing their art, sharing their music, if it is in a record or if it is live anyway. The thing is that the people will receive this.
Juan Pablo, beautiful. So now we go with our last but not least panelist, Aise Carlson. Welcome, Aise. Yeah. She's a body music performance artist, trainer, and a circle music leader. She is always, who is always after making music with all kinds of people and culture, including all ages and abilities. She's a believer that everybody can make music. Member of the Kekesa Body Percussion Ensemble, creating and managing many projects, including the International Body Music Festival since 2009. Welcome, Aise.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It's an amazing group of people, I think.
Yes. I have a question for you. Is body percussion music mainly used for fun and enjoyment, or does it have also therapeutic value?
Actually, that's how I will start, because body music is a very ancient form of making music. So it involves music, both music making and also a form of dancing. With the International Body Music Festival, we have a saying, body music is the music you can see and the dance you can hear. So basically it involves both of them. It's highly visual, but it's a form of art. So since old ages, people used to do this body music in many cultures for rituals, for praise, for special occasions. Basically not for entertainment or fun, which was a part of it, which was one of the effects of it, one of the outcomes of it. But actually the purpose is usually rituals, like hambone, gumboot, or ring shot from Africa by slaves. That was a way of uniting the community. That was for solidarity. That was because of a protest. Or flamenco, which was also an ancient form of dance and body music. It's also a body music for uniting community, for showing strength against threats. So, or like kecak from Indonesia, that's for spiritual reasons. So there are a lot of different body music traditions in the world, all around the world, from ancient times. And the main purpose is not entertainment or fun. So in that sense, of course, even though the main purpose is not entertainment or fun or therapy, it has a highly therapeutic value, because with your own body, you are the performer, you are the instrumentalist, and you are the instrument. So even if you're deaf, even if you are disabled, you can still make your own music with your own instrument and you can hear it. The people who see it can also hear it. Even if I don't make any sound, if I do this, you will probably imagine you're hearing the sound altogether. So when we are in a circle, when we are with a big crowd, like 6,000 people or just 6 people in a circle, we will of course feel united. We will of course feel aware and in communication and in solidarity with the crowd. And in that sense, of course, it has a therapeutic value.
Wow, so interesting, so beautiful. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, so I would like to ask one question for all of you, since each one of you, come from a different, or is an artist, but in a different way. So that's really, the big plus to this panel, is that, okay, what would be your recommendation to other artists that during this time or at the moment are not going through a very good time, or their mental health is not good, or well-being is a bit so-so? No? What would be your recommendation? What would you tell them? So maybe we can start with Coral. Shall we go for the same order as we started at the beginning? Okay, go ahead.
Music saved my life, actually. I come from a very rough childhood, grounds where I couldn't find myself. I felt I would be, a weight on my family. I was bothering my parents in a way because of the situation. The house was, I grew up in a very complex kind of family, I would say. But I found through music my voice. I found my way through music, through playing instruments, through writing songs. And that helps me clean myself every time, like when I have a problem, when I go through hard times, even when I go through great times, my way of cleaning myself, aside from therapy, aside from breathing, aside from all the things we can do, meditation and sports and a healthy diet and all the things we know, the thing that helped me the most was writing, was getting connected to my pain or to my emotions, and being able to put them in words and make something beautiful out of it. I was lucky enough to know how to play instruments, to have a piano. My family was crazy, but we had instruments. We had pianos, we had guitars, we had ways of expressing ourselves. And we are 4 siblings, and the 4 of us found ways through music or through art. So I think it's really not something that it's just like, we are the 4 of us, we have that vehicle that we found. So I'm a live proof that art can really save you and can really put you in a place that you can embrace all that pain and you can actually make something beautiful out of crap, which is what happened to me and to my life. Through art, I could find my own voice and be me. So I think that for those who are struggling and artists, I think the most important thing, it might sound basic, but it's really to be silent, to get in touch with yourself and to see where is that strength you have. What is that thing that makes you stronger in all this crazy time that we're going through, and trying to get close to your strengths and further away from your weaknesses. And that only you find by breathing, by finding yourself, by closing your eyes, by getting to know yourself. I mean, the only way to have some kind of mental health in anything we do, I think, it's to know yourself. Where do you feel good? What are you not good at? And getting away from those that hurt you and from those things that don't give you that strength you need, and getting closer to those and to those things that will make you feel a better you. So for me, I would say just always being honest to you, facing your fears, facing them, going to them, not being afraid of being afraid, just being brave at all those things that we don't know how to handle, and try and get them, try and go after them, and finding yourself to know what will make you happy. How can you go through those hard times stronger and better to you, being better to each other, to ourselves. That's it.
Thank you, Coral.
Thank you.
Hilet, what would you tell the artist?
What I would say is that, as Coral said, music saves her. I say that the same thing for me. I grew up in a family I have 22 siblings. I'm the 3rd to last. And I grew up in the countryside, away from civilization, with no running water or electricity. And so many brothers and sisters. I have 17 brothers, 7 sisters. And music was something that literally healed me and literally me find a path through poverty, through everything in life. We were able to travel throughout the entire world. Of course, now during the pandemic is different. So during this time, when the pandemic comes, I think about back then in terms of just using music to create. And because you create, it heals you, and then that same song that you create, or whether it be a song, whether it be designing clothes, or, just being a creative, expressing different forms of creation in terms of, as I say, art, dance, do something that you have never done before in this time. Push yourself to do more. Because sometimes, being an artist, being busy, a lot of things we want to do, but we are unable to do it because of time. But now, during the pandemic, things are down. Don't just get, I would encourage you not to just get down, but take the opportunity. Because I want to learn to dance, So for me, I'm going to take this time to learn to dance, So I want to encourage the creatives who things are not going right. There are so many options on YouTube you can learn. You may not have to actually go to a class, or just take that time away and create. So let creation heal you during this time. So that would be my message of encouragement.
Thank you, Nihilate, for this beautiful message of encouragement. Okay. Nadim, what would you say?
I think when you're going through your hard time, and the best thing I think you should connect with your loved one. This is a message I feel like never be alone when you have a hard time. Try to connect yourself. You have your music, and you should connect yourself, because I believe we have someone who's really encouraging us. So I think this is the best people when we have in our life. So I have to be connected with them. So whenever you're alone, whenever you feel sad, when you have a tough time because of this COVID, okay, I think you better stay with the positive person who's always in your life. And as Nelly said, do something you've never done. I think this is the best thing, because every time shows are regular and whatever, it's like regular you're doing, but when you have free time, you can do something we've never done. You become an artist and you become an audience for yourself. So I think this is how you can control and pass your time, and you can come out with this hard time. And I pray for everyone, we should finish this hard time and back to normal very soon. So that's all from me.
Thank you, Nadine. Beautiful. Be the artist and the audience at the same time. I love it. Yeah, very good. Thank you. Okay, Tristan, what would you say?
Okay, well, I have friends who work in different mediums as artists. Some people are painters, and some people are singers, are musicians, are dancers. And so I don't think there's any one umbrella piece of advice that would apply to all of them, because some people will be extroverted or introverted, or may recharge in different ways. But what I have been telling my friends is this is temporary. We will get through this. We will be over this. We will meet again. And when we meet, will we have something new to show each other? Will we have new music to play together? Will we have new art to show one another, new stories to tell? Hopefully. I don't want to be apart for friends for 2 years and have them see me and see that I've been in a static state of absolutely no artistic or musical growth. So I've been challenging myself to maintain that consistency with trying to learn new things, read new things, write new things, which isn't always easy, because usually when there's an event scheduled and there's a performance coming up, you plan something to show the audience at that time. And when all of that gets taken away and you're just sitting alone in your bedroom and no audience, well, then you kind of become your own audience. And how do you keep yourself entertained? Well, I can't play the same thing over and over and over and over forever and ever. Amen. So I've been trying to learn and encouraging some friends who call me to keep learning and know that we'll get through this. And hopefully when we meet on the other side, we'll have new things for one another.
Beautiful. When we meet at the other side, we'll have new things to show, to share. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Sale, what would you say?
I would say echoing a lot of what everybody's already said, a lot of that time spent in experimenting is very important. Again, because I'm dealing with some people who are not artists per se, or they just haven't found the artist in them. A lot of it is experimenting and sort of digging into things that you haven't done before. And I'll just take it a little bit further, we have platforms now in social media that are, social media. There are ways for people to get their art out, which is different from before. So you kind of have a chance to test waters, try different things. I think we've already said that. I'll also say is in my heart, I have something going on that I don't really know how to put out, and I'm an artist, so I'll illustrate that. And that gets me to a certain point that's very satisfying, where I'm like, okay, I can illustrate this, but there's still something in me. So then I would switch my disciplines and I'll take up writing and I'll try to get it out in words. And I found that as a story artist, I'm now combining my words with my art. So I feel like it's not, when you're experimenting or trying new things, it's a good advice, but it's not a bad idea to stay in that wheelbarrow of trying to create something that is self-acknowledging, being able to acknowledge the things that you're going through and who you are, but also that you can affect the people around you. If it's directly, your family members, the loved ones that are around you, or strangers who, don't know what they don't know. And your song, your art, your thing might be that thing that might help them. And so when I'm producing my art and I'm, as I pray and I'm asking for things in my prayer, I want that thing to project in my art. So that way, the thing that I want other people to have too. So whether it's joy, whether it's peace of mind, whether it's something like that, those things that I'm praying for, I sort of pray it into my artwork, and then hopefully it has that effect. So yeah, just to echo what everybody else is already saying, just try new things and also learn new ways to pour yourself into the creation part of it.
Thank you, Sale. Thank you. Juan Pablo?
Yeah, hi.
What would be your recommendation?
Well, once again, I already said it, but I think it is really important to remember what you're doing is not you, and what you're doing is not for you. Obviously, you can take very good things of this process of your creating process, but at the end of it, it is not made for you, but for the people that receives it, for the people that listens to it, that watches it, so if you have this in mind, I think you will get the right direction to the purpose of your art. And also, in my case, I think it's a really important connecting with your roots. Here we are with a group of very talented people from all around the world, and everyone has their own story, their own experiences. And in any place of the world, in every place of the world, we have our unique treasures, our unique, really nice and unique things that we can express through art, through the songs we make, through the animations or whatever art we make. So also connect with your roots, because in the roots, there is also a really important path to discover the way your art can communicate honestly and with love and sincerely.
Thank you, Juan Pablo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Aise, what would be your recommendation?
Okay, so in a way, I'm pretty lucky because I'm the last one, so I was able to hear everybody. And I just realized there's one thing in common, which I'll keep for the last. So my first advice to breathe in and out. Wherever you are, whoever you are, don't just forget breathing in and out. I know you've been hearing it thousands of times, but let's keep on saying it thousands of times so that everybody just breathes in and out. And the second one is be silly and funny. It's good to be silly. It's good to be funny. In this world, against a virus, we're all tensed up and we're all trying to be strong for our kids, for our families, for the work, for all the tension, for the world. We're trying to be strong with our immune systems, with our health, with our mental health. We have a right to be silly. We have a right to make mistakes. And it's good to be silly because, well, at least you're going to be funny. Somebody will laugh, and we need laughter. and it will make you feel more human, because we're social creatures and we need to laugh, at least to ourselves. So you have a right to be silly. And the last one that I realized, we have something in common, all of those people here. What we're doing is to keep our mental health, keep being good artists. We're doing good to someone in need. We are creating our art. We are feeling that art is saving us. So we want other people to be saved. So we want other people to be healthy. So what we're doing is basically we do good for someone else that makes us feel good. So there are a lot of artists that already do it by nature. But even if you're not an artist, wherever you are, whoever you are, as long as you do good to somebody, you will feel useful, you will feel healthy, you'll feel human, you'll be connected. So let's do something good for other people.
Thank you, Aisha. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I think that we are reaching the end of this panel time that we have. And well, it has been a great pleasure for me to be here with all of you, to hear all your experiences, how you have dealt during this pandemic time. And also the most important, all the advice and recommendations that you have for all these millions of artists around the world. So well, thank you very much for everybody, for taking the time, for being here, and for contributing to this mental health and well-being of everybody, not the artists and everybody else. And I tell you something on behalf of not the artists, but the other side of the world, the non-artists, that we are missing you. You know, we are missing your music live. Okay, one thing is beautiful to be in the internet, that we can be together now. But live music, live dance, live, to have this more close up with all of you, and to be able to interact person to person. So we are missing you. And well, wishing you all the best. Thank you very much for being here. And okay, and see you soon.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Sol. I'm from Argentina, and today I'm very happy to share with you some little knowledge, a beautiful experience through our very fun. So come on, grab some paper. Anyone you have at home would be great. We're just gonna need a little bit of paper, some colors, beautiful pencils, markers, crayons, oil pastels, anything you have at home, it would be great. So go ahead and grab some little things there. You can have brushes or watercolors. Let's do a little silhouette. Any silhouette you can draw, like a body silhouette with a beautiful line. Just go ahead with a line and do a little silhouette. And many artists speak and talk and say that the line is when this point, this dot, leaves its repose state. So from the dot, you start just making a beautiful line, which is in fact kind of a metaphor of our life, right? We are a little heart beating, and from there we start creating our whole life. So, do you already have your silhouette? That's great. Then we're going to talk a little bit about our centers of energy, which are called chakras. So we have 7 centers of energy, and we're going to represent them on this little silhouette with some circles, and we're going to put some colors. So let's draw some little dots here. I'll show you. And you just put the color you love in any of these. Look. First we have this Muladhara chakra, which is in the base of the spine. And when our energy is up and we are full of energy, we feel a lot of enthusiastic. If not, we feel some inertia. When this energy starts rising, we go into Swalistan Chakra, which is like in our genitals, and we feel a lot of creativity, right? If not, we feel obsessed, we feel with obsessions. Then a little bit further up, we feel here Muladhara Chakra, which is there we can experience in this area, we can experience joy and generosity. If our energy is down, we feel jealous and greed. And then when our energy goes up, imagine you're feeling really great. So you're feeling with lots of generosity and joy, and then your heart starts blossoming and you feel love, right? But if your energy is not in a great state, maybe you didn't sleep well, maybe you haven't had a nice food, so your energy goes down and you feel fear and you feel hatredness. Hatredness is odio in Spanish, I don't know. And then if your energy is up again, you feel in your throat, in this center of energy, you can experience gratitude. If not, you feel sadness, when you have your throat like very close, shut, and you feel sad, well, then you know that your energy has to lift up. And we have beautiful techniques like meditation, yoga, eating correctly, beautiful veggie food, maybe everything that has prana, that has, very vital energy. That is so good. So there are many things. And then art, our great state of mind, feeling happy, feeling joyful, playful through art, through colors. And then a little bit further up, we have our intuition center in here. And we feel what there? Intuition. We feel, if we are not good, we feel enojo. How do you say enojo? Well, when you're like, hatredness, is that? No. And then here up in our coronilla, you feel blessed, you feel so dichoso, right? Dichoso is a beautiful word in Spanish you can learn today also. Once you have, listen, here we have a beautiful drawing. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. From your silhouette with all those centers of energy, you can go ahead and put some colors and make a beautiful scenery for that silhouette. Anything you want. Like you can put stars, rockets, or maybe you love the beach, so you can start drawing some kind of wavy flow of colors. Probably you like, I don't know, maybe you like the city and the traffic lights and, or whatever. Just play, feel free, feel confident, and go ahead and get in touch with that inner source of creativity, so beautiful, that we all have in ourselves, and explore. I'm inviting you to be able to observe yourself. Okay, everyone, I hope you have enjoyed it. Please get in touch with me if you need to, ask me anything, share what you did, or, just keep on sharing this beautiful chat. I'm very glad and grateful to have been invited to this enormous forum with such lovely, intelligent, talented people as you and me, trying to create a beautiful and better world for everyone. Thank you so much. Loves and blessings to all.